that stubborn August heat continues, but there is something to talk about later in the forecast where we might actually see a little bit of change, but we'll get to that in a moment. Unfortunately, first we do have to talk about how hot it is going to be today. 102, 103. That's going to be going up as we go into the weekend. The normal temperature is still 97 degrees. Give me a couple of days. I'll be dropping that a degree or two as we get closer to the weekend, and that will start our steady decline in those normal or average temperatures, because the latter half of August we get off of that peak and start moving our way downwards towards fall. Now, does that mean that the weather is necessarily going to follow that trend? Not always, but hey, anything can happen here, so we'll stick with it. 80, 81 degrees for our lows overnight tonight. We'll see those steadily increasing as well, but they won't increase as much with those high temperatures because we will see drier conditions. I will say less humid. That will allow us to warm up more. Now, getting into the record watch, we're still not quite there. 107 at DFW in 1951, 106 in Waco in 2020, just a few years ago, with, again, that norm of 97 degrees. We're not quite here yet, but we will get close to that, unfortunately, as we get into those weekend days. Now, medium high for your allergens today, quinopods and elm, so if you're allergic to those, you're probably feeling that. The good news is, in terms of air quality, we still have a bit of a breeze going, so that will help to mitigate the pollution quality issues in the air that we often see this time of year. I want to get into what we're seeing. Now, as far as what we're seeing on radar right now, there's nothing. I mean, it's just nothing out there. High pressure still has a hold on us. We're watching a high pressure ridge farther out to the west. This will bring drier air in, and as it does, drier air heats more efficiently, so we will see those temperatures rising over the next few days. You see this big cold front here. Unfortunately, this isn't going to do anything for us. We could see a few showers and thunderstorms west of our area, closer to where that front will be going through, but unfortunately this ridge of high pressure is pretty well going to keep this thing in check and move that eastward here. Now, there will be plenty of storms, obviously, ahead of that front in the Midwest. Now, here's what I want to talk about. Over the next few days, we're going to see a bigger push of cold air up to the north. So this front, along with, again, that reinforcement of cooler air, will start to sag southward. And we will see, as we get into the weekend next week, early next week, we will see this deeper intrusion of cooler air into the eastern United States. So as that happens, we will start to see kind of those earlier signs of a seasonal shift. What's yet to be determined is just how far west will that cooler air go. There's signs that we could see that move east enough to bring us down into the 90s early next week. But I don't have that in the forecast yet. I'm not confident enough. It just doesn't look like we really have a lot to hang our hats on with that. But we are watching that because, again, this is going to be kind of our first hints of fall weather as that deeper intrusion comes in. Normally we don't see that until the fall season, so we will see what happens there. It's going to split the country. It's going to be much warmer out west, but it will be much cooler out east. And you know, I don't really like these 6 to 10 day outlooks, these extended outlooks here, but I do want to show it because it does help to kind of tell this story that, again, you can see the Midwest, the Northeast, kind of the Ohio Valley here getting into Tennessee. That's where we're going to see that cooler air, and for right now, we're still in the above average range here. Average, again, is 97 degrees. So above average can still be 98, 99, 100. So either way, it looks like we could be a little bit cooler. If nothing else, we could see the front stall somewhere nearby, kind of the back side of it. So maybe, just hopefully, we could get a few clouds that could help. I mean, anything helps at this point, but I will continue to monitor that for you, and it will be, again, kind of a battle of these air masses. So we will need to see how far east does this front go to allow the jet stream to continue to move southward, possibly push a little bit westward, and allow for those cooler temperatures, a little bit cooler air, or for many of you, the opinion really to call it is less hot air, tends to move our way. There are some 10-day outlooks and 14-day outlooks, especially the 14-day. I rarely put any kind of stock into those, but there are some 14-day outlooks that have us in the 90s quite a bit, in the coming weeks. That would go with the seasonal trend, but we know that Texas doesn't like to follow things like that. So we will be watching it, but unfortunately, what I don't see in the forecast anytime soon is rain. And that's why today we look at our updated drought conditions map. This is the drought monitor map, and you will notice we are seeing those drought conditions start to sag in, start to deteriorate across our area. That is why we are seeing more and more burn bans in place. So we see Navarro County and Johnson County already under those burn bans. Nothing in Ellis and Hill. I heard from Hill County's emergency manager yesterday. They are looking at this. They will be looking at this next Tuesday. It was considered in the last commissioners meeting. Decided not to quite go into burn ban territory, but they are getting there. Burn bans present a lot of it's a tougher decision than it seems like. I'll say it that way. When it comes to the county officials and the different kind of repercussions that it can sometimes have. But I will tell you that all counties in our area are taking a look at this, especially as conditions deteriorate with no rain in the forecast. So if you're in one of these red counties, Navarro, Johnson, Freestone and Limestone, McLennan County, Somervell County over there, if you're in any of these, outdoor burning is completely prohibited. Now, for Ellis and Hill and over in Bosque counties in our area, I would say be cautious, be very, very careful. We will have a bit of a breeze, and we have quickly drying vegetation out there. So there's no burn ban, but that doesn't mean you don't need to be careful. So just take that into consideration with any of those outdoor flames or open flames that you have. So here's the forecast. Let's kind of put all this into context. 102 today, 103 tomorrow, 105, 106 on Sunday. This is going to be our hottest days here. We'll start to see that, and although we will have lower humidity, the air temperatures will compensate for that, so it will still be very hot out there. We could see a few excessive heat warnings. I haven't mentioned it yet because it seems so casual now, but heat advisories do continue throughout this period, right? They're just going to keep extending those, but we could see excessive heat warnings here. It's no guarantee, but we could very well see those this weekend. And then here's early next week. So here's what we're talking about. I have temperatures around 103 Monday. We could see some conditions take the edge off there. 102 Tuesday and then 104 Wednesday. I think if we do get a break from these higher temperatures, it will probably be brief. So Wednesday, I've got 104 here. I don't see it sticking around. But this forecast can change. As we get closer and start to see these models either stay consistent or start to change, that will change the calculus and the thinking on this. So stay tuned. We will be watching this period to see if maybe we can get a little bit of a deeper break here. But again, I don't expect it to stick around very long. Beyond that, it's hard to say. I know that there are some, like I mentioned, that have 14-day outlooks that have us in the 90s for a decent stretch. Hard to say. If the Texas weather decides to follow the trend and get with the program, then yes, we will see gradually dropping temperatures, but these high pressure ridges, they get stubborn in the month of August, so we will see what happens. We've had warmer Septembers before, so stay tuned. Don't put any stock in this. Don't change any plans or get your hopes up too much, but I will be watching to see what the models tell us as we get towards what we hope will be another break from the cooler temperatures, as in the bigger picture we start to see the first hints, just those first very subtle whispers of fall weather.